From the headquarters of Fight Back Media, The Morning Report, with your host, Willie Lawson. Well, good morning, and welcome to The Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. I am thrilled to be here today. It is Tuesday? What is today? Today is Wednesday. Woo. Today is Wednesday. After you have, a week off for hurricane or whatever, it just, the time just gets by. You don't want, what day it is, which is typical. I think today, and I have to just go on by my work schedule, what I'm doing on any given day. It is Wednesday, October 5th, already the 5th. Are you looking forward to Christmas? I'm looking forward to Christmas. My son is looking forward to Thanksgiving. That's his favorite holiday because it's based around food. It actually isn't based around food. It's based around being thankful for what you have, for sure. Being grateful for what you have. And that is right at this moment in our house is very, very important, being grateful for what you have. And we are. And I'm just thrilled. And people go, why are you so happy all the time? Because I'm grateful. I am thankful for what God has given me and provided me and put me in charge of and gives to me to take care of. So yeah, I'm super, super thrilled with it. All right, we got some stories today that are kind of our typical fare. But I wanted to because of the hurricane is past, it's done. But there are some things that are being said about hurricanes, basically by people who don't experience them all the time and don't know much about them, that we're going to address. There are some hurricane myths that our friend John Stossel, I say that like I have him on, like I have him on my celly, but I don't. That he put forth that I want to talk about for sure, that you're going to hear about, that are going to be pushed out in the in the legacy media that are simply ridiculously not true. The Biden administration meets with the abortionists, and they get all jacked up because they are sure that this is going to be the wedge issue that pushes them over the top in the midterms. However, the folks at MSLSD, their national political correspondent, gives them a little puts a dark cloud after all over all that, and we'll talk about that. And we see what's going on in Oregon, of all places. Oregon, is there a Republican gubernatorial candidate surging in Oregon? That's what Portland is. Are you serious? Well, we're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit about that too. We're going to do that right after when we get back from these messages. All righty. Again, thank you so much for joining us here on the Morning Report. Again, the Morning Report is a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. I say it that way because I want people to hear it more than once, and I have some listeners who like it when I say it like that. So I'll continue doing that, even if it's a little annoying. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with the falderall here. Let's see here. Let me pick up the correct story here. Here we go. You guys just know, everybody knows that we just got through Hurricane Ian. Hurricane Ian was a pretty serious storm. Came on shore as a Category 4 storm. That's a pretty serious storm. There's a big difference between a Category 2 and a Category 4 storm. It's kind of like the Richter scale. There's a big difference between a 4 on the Richter scale and a 6. Same kind of deal. The strength goes up logarithmically as opposed to multiplicative. Ooh, SAT words. Anyway, John Stossel wrote some myths down on the stuff that you're hearing about hurricane and hurricane responses, and for the most part, these are being pushed for political reasons. They need a way. The left needs a way to damage Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. They are desperate for ways to damage him. Here's the first myth: we need the Federal Emergency Medical Management Agency or disaster relief. That's just dumb. Stossel says, given FEMA's history of incompetence. FEMA once spent millions on bottled water and expensive trailers for housing, and then just left them on an airfield. Couldn't get them there, right? Matt Mayer worked at the Department of Homeland Security during Hurricane Katrina. He says the federal government was just too bureaucratic to be much help. State, local communities, neighbors just do a much better job, Mayor told Stossel. Now, what I have found, I have been in this state, in the state of Florida, since 1967, some, let's see, 50 plus years. And what I have found is that the most effective system of help for people who get in these situations are their neighbors. People come, and I find that people come together. People come together. They take care of one another. They gather the correct things and head towards wherever the problem is. That happened with Andrew. That happened with Michael. That happened with every major storm that I know about, which is all of them, which is all of them really. We help each other, and that is the most effective way, because we know exactly what, people around you know exactly what you need, because they've probably experienced it themselves. They know exactly what you need. They know exactly what to do. They know, I mean, you don't have to, all these people telling people, make sure you stay off the road so the emergency people can get by and get through. They already know that. No one's going to be clogging up the roads down there trying to help. And knowing full well that some of the roads may be washed out, flooded out. People know, we already know that. We know that people need water. We know people need food that they don't have to cook. We know that they need ways to cook some of the food they already have, or be able to cook food. So people go down there with their barbecue grills. We already know that there's no power. We already know that. We know that people have trees, down on roadways. We already know that people have trees down on their homes. We already know that. And then people get in their trucks. Florida man gets in his truck with his chainsaw and his buddy's chainsaw and his buddy, and they run down there and take care of business. And 9.7 times out of 10, they do it for free. They just want to be a help. So nobody is sitting around waiting for FEMA to come and help us. No one. So this whole expectation that now Florida needs big government. Florida also knows that big government isn't necessary. And people who are like, just regular folks are already on the scene and can get the ball rolling, and often do. The second myth is that governments must stop greedy businesses from abusing customers. Some businesses do raise prices when the storm approaches. Politicians call that illegal price gouging. This is dumb, if not cruel. Now, this is really hard for people. So let me try to explain to you. Here's what happens a lot of the times. Let's say a storm is approaching, and we see, and you guys see on TV, everyone's running out to buy supplies. Everybody's running out to buy supplies. Everybody. Just the store shelves are empty of water. They're empty water. Can I take a rabbit trail? People who drink soda, coffee, all these other drinks, all for years, and now a storm is approaching, and now you have to have water. Couldn't you just keep drinking Coke? Your diet you have to have your Diet Coke every day. Could you just keep doing that? Save some of the water for us. I could have with my coffee. Anyway, sorry. Now the problem is that the prices are low, and so they all get bought out. So there are a group of people And if you just didn't get there in time, there's no supply. You got nothing because you run out. Part of raising the prices keeps people from just hoarding everything. It keeps people from hoarding, having more than they actually need. So at least there's some left. Make sense to you? It it seems on the outset, from the outside, a terrible thing. Well, why would they make all this money when people need the product? Well, if you keep it at the low price, the normal everyday low prices, someone will come in and hoard it all, and that when I come and I need it, you don't have any. So if I have to pay a little more to get it, that's less cruel than letting somebody come in and buy it all. It's very, liberty is a very, very adult thing. It's hard to do. After after Hurricane Katrina, when John Jefferson learned that parts of Mississippi lost power, he bought 19 generators, left the safety of his home, drove 600 miles to the disaster area, and offered to sell his generators for what he paid for them. People were eager to buy, but Mississippi police called that gouging. They jailed Jefferson and confiscated his generators. He bought 19, drove 600 miles. He paid how much he paid, for what he paid for them. He basically was going to just get back the money he had already done. No, I'm sorry. He offered to sell his generators for twice what he paid for them. Now, the people in Mississippi didn't have any. Needed generators. People said, fine, whatever. At least they had them. But they called it price gouging, put them in jail, confiscated the generators so people didn't have them. Hmm. Myth number 3, hurricanes are getting worse. The media say storms are getting worse because of human-caused climate change. And all these climate experts, sure, it's human caused. All of it. All of it? Yeah. We showed a video of reporters talking about hurricanes getting stronger, and the late climatologist Pat Michaels, he shouted, "No, they aren't. Look at all the hurricanes around the planet. We can see them since 1970 because we've got global satellite coverage. We can measure their power. There is no significant increase. There isn't. Even our government National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration admits there is no strong evidence of century-scale increasing trends in the US major hurricanes. There may be evidence in the future, but there isn't now. That doesn't stop the media fools from saying that there is. There isn't. There were hurricanes before and typhoons before the Industrial Revolution. There were. So this idea, well, they're worse now. There's no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence of that. Now, what happens, again, me living in Florida since 07, I have seen more and more people build closer and closer to the beach, which seems dumb. It's like the people in California who build on these cliffs, and then you have these fires, and then the rains and mudstorms, and your house goes down in the valley. And then wherever the next peak is, you build there again. Maybe that isn't the smartest thing. Maybe it isn't the smartest thing to build the 35-story condo 15 feet from the beach. Maybe that's not the brightest thing. So we end up with all this damage. The storm, there is no evidence that storms are any stronger now than they've ever been. There you go. Myth number 4, I'm going to finish up here. America must have government flood insurance. After all, private flood insurance costs too much. All private insurers charge more for a good reason. Homes in flood zones are more likely to flood. That's why federal flood insurance is a scam and a handout that rips off taxpayers. Got to stop. Humans have to stop building houses on the ocean. You have to stop building houses in flood zones. We don't need government to tell us that. We do it on ourselves. Private insurers want fat premiums when you build a house in a flood zone. There you go. So let's not do that. I was talking to my friend Brian the other day, and he said that we're having this conversation, and why do people do that? Because waterfront property, especially oceanfront or even Gulf front property, is a product that people want. It's beautiful, and people want it. They want to live that lifestyle, but living that lifestyle comes with some problems sometimes. Storms, and if you don't get the direct storm surge causes flooding, which happens when you live on a large body of water like the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico, even, or the Sea of or the China Sea, or any large body of water. When you live on an island like Hawaii or Japan, for that matter, people will have to start making decisions for themselves. Don't you think? I think so. All right, I'm going to get a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. All righty. All right. Well, thank you ever so much again for joining us here today. We appreciate each and every one of you. For those of you who are watching the video, know that I'm wearing my "No, we will not comply" shirt. Well, let me get this right. No, we will not comply shirt. It's an idea I got from the where is it? noncompliantmovie.com. You can still check it out. The second non-compliant movie is on its way out. They are working on it currently. My friend Chris Ann Hall is putting this documentary together, and it's a super important movie, and there are others out there that are super important right now, 2000 Mules and the like. But the noncompliantmovie.com is a movie that really sort of stretches over all of this and has that overarching theme that is so important that you get in your spirit. So you want to check that out for sure. And listen, for every T-shirt you buy from our one of these T-shirts that you buy from our gear store, 100% of the profit goes to making sure that they get their money back for the movie that they made, and the money goes right to Chris Ann and the noncompliantmovie.com. So want to check that out on our website, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. Alrighty. Let's get to a couple of more stories. Get to a couple more stories. Yesterday, 5 weeks before the approaching November midterms, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris held their second meeting on the task force on reproductive health care access. It also coincided with 100 days since the U.S. Supreme Court handed down the Dobbs v. Jackson decision, which overturned Roe v. Wade and left the abortion decision back to the hand of the people through their elected representatives. Which I know sounds terrible. People in individual states get to choose. The vice president spoke first. Anyway, during which she repeated the claim she made many times before, a chilling one at that, which undermines how this administration has sought not only to actively put forth a pro-abortion agenda, but erode the conscious protections for pro-life Americans in the process. Here's what she says. One does not have to abandon their faith or belief to agree that the government should not be making these decisions for women in America, Harris claimed. Speaking about abortion, she also repeated the line she uses to denigrate her political opponents by referring to those who fight for pro-life laws as extremist so-called leaders. So, according to Kamala Harris, we are extremists because we don't want people to kill their children. That makes me an extremist. I don't want you to kill your baby in utero. I don't want you to kill your baby when they're 2 or they're 5 or they're 15 and they're really annoying. I don't want you to kill them. The next T-shirt on the merch store will be, if you love children, don't murder them. So this fear mongering was out in full display, which led the VP claiming it is important for everyone to know what is at stake, which includes the need to pass such a national law. The vice president seemed to be referring to the Women's Health Protection Act. And with such a law, Democrats are looking to expand the Roe v. Wade decision, not merely codify it, as they've claimed. In doing so, they would even invalidate pro-life laws passed at the state level. They want the nation to be a death sanctuary for children in utero. The president made his remarks afterward when Biden spoke about calling for such a law, which he sure enough claimed would merely codify Roe. Not true. He couldn't even refer to the case that overturned it correctly. Instead, initially referring to it as Dodd. You don't know. In further promoting the WHPA, Biden also contributed to the fear mongering, saying, "But right now we are a short handful of votes. So the only way it's going to happen is if American people make it happen." And meanwhile, congressional Republicans are doubling down on the extreme position with a proposal of a national ban, that it's not okay to kill children. That's an extreme position. That it is not okay to murder children. Let me be clear, is what he said. What this means. It means that if you live in a state where extremist Republican officials aren't running the show, your right to choose will still be at risk. Because Republicans in Congress want to pass a law to take away the right to choose for every woman in the state, in every state, in every country, in every county. And there's no pushing back from that. It's also pushing laws to not allow exceptions for rape and incest or for the life of the mother in some cases. In very few cases, in almost every case, there are exceptions for rape and incest and the life of the mother. Now, we could have a discussion about rape and incest. That as horrifying, let's just say it this way, as horrifying as both of those incidents are, they don't happen prayerfully, they don't happen very often. And when they do happen, is it okay then to murder the child that comes from either of these things? Yes. Now we can have a discussion. Is it okay to make the woman suffer, or sometimes a little girl suffer with the pregnancy and the horror of it all, reliving it as her body grows, reminding her every single day of what happened to her? See, I'm not heartless. I do understand. But do we add murder to that? We know that women, we know because of research, we know that because we've had conversations with women who have abortions, a lot of them aren't shouting their abortions. They regret it. It haunts them. They often wonder where that child would be now at, as a 10-year-old or graduating from high school or graduating from college or whatever. It haunts a lot of women. It isn't these Hollywood types that are saying shout your abortion, like it's the best thing in the world for me to have to kill my child so now I can be rich and famous. Think about what that sounds like. Think about what excuse me, that sounds like. What kind of person are you? What kind of individual are you? I'm happy I killed my baby because now I can be rich and famous and live my dreams. Somebody had to die because of it, but what the hell? It was my right. What do you sound like? What the? My generation goes, what the hell is wrong with you? Although I know what's wrong with you. You're demon possessed. All right. Well, of course, they're taking that position now. The problem comes, of course, with Lindsey Graham being an idiot. How about that? Being a moron. And the whole idea of Roe v. Wade getting struck down and things getting sent back to the states was that states could decide these issues, not the federal government. Not the federal government. So not this national federal government ban on anything. No. We knew as pro-lifers, we knew that once Roe v. Wade got struck down, then the work was going to begin in our own states and then our neighboring states. That pro-life groups in states like California and New York and Illinois were really going to have, and Oregon are really going to have to ramp it up. Really going to have to ramp it up. Really, because they are going to be against the. I mean, they're facing even more than ever the full mechanics, the full nastiness and teeth of the abortion machine. But everybody knew that already. Lindsey Graham is trying to get reelected and throws a monkey wrench into the whole thing, trying to get the federal government to snatch back control. And the whole idea is for them not to have control. Lindsey Graham's a moron. So I mean, and if anybody from the Graham administration there or his reelection campaign wants to debate me on what a moronic thing this was, here I am. Here I am. All right. The left really believes that this is going to be a wedge issue for them, and this is how they win in the midterms. No. KGP said that the Supreme Court took away a constitutional law by overturning Roe v. Wade. That's not true. It's not true. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that the decision was booty and would eventually get overturned. It took 50 years, unfortunately, but it got overturned. It was going to. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Want to do another one? Let's do another one. Yeah, we got time. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Because they think this is a wedge issue that's going to get them over in the midterms. They got a little bad news. MSNBC's national political correspondent Steve Kornacki analyzed a recent polling during Deadline White House to give the viewers a better sense of how the midterm elections appear to be shaping up. While the generic ballot midterms is looking more competitive, Kornacki said the big picture indicator about how midterms go is the president's job approval rating, which currently stands at 42.7%. This is not good news for Democrats. At this same point, Biden is on par with where former President Trump, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton stood, and they saw brutal midterms. The only exception in modern times is George Bush a year after 9/11. Kornacki explained. You see what this meant for Trump. He lost the House in 18. For Obama, he lost the House in 2010. For Clinton, his party lost the House in 94. Biden's approval rating is right in that range. This is not good news for Democrats. Still, Kornacki said the generic ballot, which is when voters are asked which party they would like to see control Congress, has a complicated forecast. Republicans now actually have the lead on average on this question. It's by 1 point, he said. Democrats actually were ahead until last week or two, but if you look in the past, most recent wave elections, the midterms, the party has won those waves. Was up by more than 1% at this juncture in the race. So the generic ballot is closer than we've seen in the wave elections in recent times. Biden approval rating looks bad for Democrats. The generic ballot has them more competitive, though. So that's what's causing a little uncertainty here. What's this mean? What's this mean for you and I? What this means for you and I is that we have to get out, and I said this 1,000 times, we have to get out and use whatever is left of our system, no matter where we are. Every House seat is up for election. Everyone. The sad thing is that there are people who are out there who are not running against anybody, who are being, being swept back into office without any opposition. That is patently awful, in my estimation. But for the ones that are being challenged, they should all be challenged. I know we've seen the movies. We've and a lot of us, believe what we believe about 2020. We all, I had a video taken down because I reported what a government official said about the 2020 thing, but we have to use this as what's left of the system that's available to us right now. Really don't have any choice. We have to use it until it's obvious that it doesn't work. I like U.S. rep elections because they are local elections with national implications. U.S. rep elections, U.S. representative districts, about 600,000 people, which sometimes is smaller than some of our larger cities. Important. So get out there and vote. My suggestion is go on the day of the election. You can plan that Tuesday out. I think it's November 8th this year. Let me get my calendar out. I want to make sure that I tell you the right thing. Oh, I have something else I want to make sure I tell you too before we go. And we're about to go here. I feel like a pastor with that, with that close. And in closing, 35 minutes later. So y'all go to churches like that? I do. Let's see, November 8th is election day, that Tuesday. Plan. It is a month away. Plan. Whether you're going to go in the afternoon, whether you're going to go, at lunch, whether you're going to go in the evening after work, whether you're going to go in the morning before work. Yeah. I'm an early vote person. Because I am, and it's just a habit. I don't have to early vote. It's just a habit. Sorry about the green screen. That's my guitar back there. It's just a habit. And some people said don't early vote because then whatever. But I early vote because if indeed I need to help somebody out or do some poll watching on election day, I have the freedom to do that because I've already voted. And I can drive around and I don't have to think about it. Plan to vote. It's close enough. Things are close enough to win. things are close enough to make changes for the better. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report for October 5th, 2022 in the year of our Lord. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.